The atmospheric marshes of North Kent are the setting for this route, as we follow in the footsteps of Charles Dickens, who often walked in this area. The churchyard of St James's Church in Cooling is 4 miles from here. It was the inspiration for the opening chapters of Great Expectations. It is worth taking binoculars, as the route leads through the RSPB Nature Reserve at Cliffe Pools, where there are many species of water-loving birds, such as rare avocates. We can also scan the ships of various sizes on the River Thames and look across to Essex on the opposite bank. We will see historic forts built in the mid-19th century to defend London from invasion along the Thames. Good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping well. I am doing a solo walk and wild camp tonight. You don't see me doing too many of those. I haven't done many for a while, and it's one of the final walks from the Kent year-round walks book. This is one of the autumn walks. Myself and the very lovely Candice have not got many left to do, and I wanted to wild camp on this one. This area of Kent holds very fond memories for me. We are on the Thames Estuary, around sort of the Cliffe Fort area in Kent, so North Kent, and that's the little church at Lower Higham. So it was less than an hour's drive for me. The walk is 6 miles, and I'm hoping to try and wild camp at a spot that I've been to before. In fact, it was the first time I met Andy from Kent Survival. We did, I think, a 10-mile walk around Cliffe Fort and that sort of area along the Thames Estuary, and we camped sort of on a little peninsula by like a lake, sort of an artificial lake. And yeah, we had OEX Fox 1 tents at the time, I remember, his and hers, and yeah, it was the first time I met him, so it was, yeah, as I say, brings back some fond memories. The tent I've got tonight is my Terra Nova Laser Competition 1, and I've got the new Terra Nova footprint to go with it, because that Tyvek one just wasn't working for me. I couldn't get along with it. It was really difficult to marry it up with the tent, and in the end I just pulled the trigger and found the cheapest brand new Terra Nova footprint I could find. So yeah, we're going to be trying that out tonight. Maiden voyage for the footprint. Got a couple of new siders to show you, a couple of new dehydrated meals I'm going to try out. I'm looking forward to it. It's just going to be nice doing a solo camp, really. It's a Sunday afternoon, lockdown number 2, and the weather is meant to be really good. In fact, there's talks we may well have an Indian summer, as it's like early November now. Just got to cross over the train line here, and we're heading out to the Thames Estuary, up to Cliffe Fort, which I can actually see in the distance. It looks pretty cool. I do want to explore it at some point, but it's so difficult. I know a lot of people that have explored it, but of course it's owned by an aggregate company, and they're not doing anything with it. They're kind of leaving it to fall into disrepair, and it is literally slowly falling apart. It's a real shame, because it's a real gem of a fort, and of course its kind of sister fort on the opposite side of the bank, on the Essex side, way, is Coalhouse Fort. I've been there before, of course. Yeah, anyways, right, enough talking, let's get walking. Fort was built in the 1860s as part of a defence system to prevent invasion of London by enemies using the Thames. Its guns could be used in conjunction with those of COALHOUSE Fort on the opposite bank to set up an arc of fire over the river. In 1890, a Brennan torpedo, state of the art at the time, was based here. This early form of torpedo had two propellers that were rotated by wires attached to winding engines in the fort and could be steered. One of the launching rails can still be seen. It's gone 4 PM now and it's pretty cloudy, so no chance of a sunset, but we are losing light very fast. The camera is sort of struggling to sort of take photos and stuff straight away. It has to sharpen it and stuff, and it takes a little while, so I know it's getting dark. We've just passed the remains, the magnificent remains of Cliffe Fort, and do you know what, it saddens me every time I come here because it's such an amazing site. There's so much to see there. I've never actually explored it myself because of course it's owned by Brett Aggregate. It's on their land and it's really hard to get into. I can see where people have got in, and I know people that have got in and done it and filmed it, but it's risky. Although every time I come here it always seems really quiet, like they're finished for the night or something, and it doesn't look like there's any CCTV on the fort. But the bottom section I believe is flooded. The middle section inside the fort is flooded, or it's subsiding. There's like marshiness, like marshy ground. It is basically falling into disrepair. It's amazing, the view across to Essex. It's something else. It's very cloudy, very like murky and misty out. It's lovely. I've really looked forward to this walk. Out of all the ones in the book, this is one of the ones I've looked forward to most. Anyway, there's this big pool coming up over here, and that's where myself and Andy camped last time, and I'm thinking of doing the same thing again. There's really nowhere on the foreshore to pitch up, so that is probably my best bet. And here's the wreck of the Hans EGEDE, something like that. I mean, half of the wreck stuff out here is probably something from history. It's probably from the war or the Napoleonic era. Just this like the Thames Estuary is just full of stuff. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. There's just something bleak about it, bleak but beautiful, and just so interesting. So full of history. Anyways, I'm waffling on. Let's carry on walking and hopefully find the spot down at the lake thing over there and pitch up. Okay, I've found the spot that myself and Andy camped at last, just down from Cliffe Fort on the sort of lake pool. So it's gonna auto focus a lot because of the low light, and yeah, it was this little tip of land that stuck out and into the water, and it looks like it's eroded down a little bit, because I remember it being a little bit bigger than this, but I should be able to fit the tent on there fine. It's a little bit lumpy bumpy here, but I reckon stick the tent sort of right about here. I'm far enough away from the edge, so yeah, it's getting dark, so let's get set up. I don't even think I'm going to be able to do a time lapse for you. I think it's just going to be, you know, the tent will be here in a minute sort of thing. It's 6:15 now, and the tent went up relatively okay. Just because it was a new footprint, it sort of took me a little while to figure it out. So yeah, it went up all right. Little bit of a slope down to this corner here, but I've just put some stuff underneath my sleeping mat inside there. The kit inside is pretty much the same as what I had on Mount Caban for firework night. Talking of fireworks, there are some fireworks going off. If I pan you round in the dark, over that way we go up over the embankment, you've got the Thames Estuary, and on the other side, on the Essex side, there are fireworks going off. Apart from that, it's really quiet. So back to the setup. I've got my little stall out, which is proving to be absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm using that more than my little fold-up camping chair. It's pretty comfy. For stoves tonight, I've got a little mini alcohol stove that was homemade by my mate Hambo. He gave me 2 of them. This is the smaller one of the 2, on some tin foil, a little mini stand that he made for it. I've got my Outkit titanium pots, so they're a little bit lighter, and I can have sort of a bigger hot drink. I'm just boiling some water for a cup of tea. 2 of these 1.5 litre plastic bottles. So I've got 3 litres of plain water, and then I've got a 750ml plastic water bottle that I've been drinking from. I've got 2 little bottles of meths. That's the porch in there, that's the rest of my food. And one of my other ciders. I have got my little Outkit Krakow gas stove in case I rinse the alcohol fuel. Some more hot drinks down there in my spork. My Haze Outdoors cut down mat. It's basically an old Therma SC light, and I just cut the whole mat up into like 4 panelled sort of size mats really, and it's perfect. I cracked open a cider already without you, sorry. And this one is a Brothers Tutti Frutti English cider. I've had a couple of these before at home. It's a little 330ml bottle, 4%. I really like this one, it's quite good. A little bit sweet and sickly, you probably couldn't drink loads of them, but I know it's one of the better ones from Brothers. I reckon I'm going to give it an 8.8 out of 10. Maybe a 9, I'm not sure. I'm not too fussed about the cider reviews on this camp, I'll be honest. I've got that one. And then another one that I've had before. That one's the Brothers Cloudy Lemon. 4% again. That's really nice, that one. Haven't seen that about. My mum found them actually when she was out shopping and got me a couple of them. And that's really good as well. Probably about the same rating I'd give it really. It's another Summit to Eat dehydrated meal. This one's beef stew with potatoes. 118 grams. Main meal serves 1. For dessert, Summit to Eat again. Rice pudding with strawberry. And that's a 90 gram dessert, serves 1. I've got my OEX Helios down 3 season bag, and then inside it I've got the OEX silk sleeping bag, mummy liner, my Trekology Aleph 2 pillow, and then underneath the pillow and the sleeping bag is my Osprey Exos 48 litre rucksack. I love that rucksack, it's so comfy, rides really well. I've got my full length Climate Static V insulated mat. Really warm and comfy on that. It's the one that Candice used on Mount Caban. I've got my Decathlon silver foam mat underneath it, just to sort of add extra protection to the climate mat. And then I just put there that orange OEX dry bag that's got stuffed sacks and stuff like that in, and it just lifts my feet up a little bit because there's that drop sort of down towards the foot box, so I sleep with my head facing out that way. I've got a little through night sort of keyring flashlight hanging there as a tent light. It's really bright actually, really good little light that. And on my head I've got a WowTac head torch, and the water's boiling. This is what that beef stew and potatoes looks like dehydrated. Looks like there's a hell of a lot of food in there. All kinds of vegetables and potatoes, and also the beef itself and stuff. That looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. Right, that's the beef stew and potatoes rehydrated. Left it for about 10 minutes, and what I did was to keep it warm, I got my softy trousers and just sort of opened them up, kept them in the bag, and then just nestled this pouch inside those, and it just kept it warm while it rehydrated. You can see there is loads of stuff going on in there. There's carrots, looks like maybe some peppers, and I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I'm starving. I just want to eat it. Let's tuck in. Beef's a little bit crunchy. It's probably been in longer than 10 minutes, to be fair. Probably more like 15 minutes. Quite big, like bits of diced beef in there. Yeah, they're peppers, I reckon, because slight spiciness to it. Carrots. It's not as good as the pasta bolognese that I had on Mount Cabum, but it's not bad. I'll still eat that. That's nice. The potatoes really good as well. The beef just tastes a little bit crunchy, even though I did rehydrate it properly. Still, it's edible, and I'll wash that down with the rest of that Tutti Frutti Brothers cider, and then we'll have dessert. It's the shockingly late time of 7:30. This is what it's like, sort of autumn, winter sort of time. While camping it's a lot of hours of darkness, and that's one of the reasons I bought the tent. I was going to bring the OEX Salamander hoot bivvy, show you that, but I just thought if I have to spend a lot of time inside the shelter, that would suck a bit, just having to lay down in that. So I thought, bring the tent, you know, I've got a bit more room, sort of thing. And this tent's actually lighter anyway, the Terra Nova, so it's lighter than pretty much everything I've got. So the rice pudding with strawberry has rehydrated. There, that's it in there. To be honest, it looks exactly like a lot of other rice puddings with strawberries that I've had before, like dehydrated meals. I've also done a hot chocolate, and I'm on to that second cider. I only bought two little ciders with me today. This one tastes like it's got honey in it, but I don't think it has. It's got quite a medicinal sort of taste to it, but it's nice. I deliberately didn't put too much water in it, and I'm glad, because that looks like it's mixed up really well. Oh, it smells lovely. It smells like ambrosia. Wow, that's lovely. That's probably better than that chocolate mousse with cherries and granola. I mean, that was nice, but it was a little bit too runny. That is perfect. I'm looking forward to eating that. I think I might sit in the tent for a little bit, maybe see what the signal's like, see if I can watch some YouTube. I've got plenty of time to kill. Not that late still, it's only 8:30. I've been in the tent, I don't know, probably an hour maybe, tops. The birds, all the wading birds and the seagulls and the ducks and stuff that are on this lake thing are going mental outside, and I can actually hear a faint sort of light rain on the tent. So this wasn't forecast to have any rain. I'll poke my head out the door in a minute and have a look, but this could mean I'm in the tent for the night then. I had that rice pudding with strawberries, that was lovely. Wasn't a lot of it, as usual. I've watched a documentary on Jerry Lee Lewis. I'm watching Luke, the Real Travelling Amigos' latest video at the moment. Perfect 4G signal. I'm warm. I'm going to be so warm in this sleeping bag. It's coming up to about 9:45 now, and the rain did stop for about 10-15 minutes, and I thought, well, I'll boil up some water on the alcohol stove for one of my little nighttime teas. So I got the stove set up outside, was about to light it, and sure enough I felt some more drops of rain in the air, so quickly got everything back inside the tent, shut the door up, and I'm back in the tent again. I think I'm going to be in here now for the rest of the night, probably till morning. So the weather forecast has changed a little bit. I'm really glad I bought the tent now and not the hooch bivvy, because I just would have been stuck in that laying down all night. I mean, it's, you know, it's still got a decent amount of room, but you can't sit up in here. You know, you just have to keep turning over on your sides, and at least I can sit up in here and cook inside out the rain and things like that. I got the alcohol stove set up just on the windshield, so it's a nice flat stable surface, and it's far enough away from the doors and stuff, and you know the flame's not gonna get massive, so it is safe in here, it is doable, and there's plenty of ventilation, you know, around the bottom of the tent and stuff like that, so should be all right. And you know, it's giving off a little bit of warmth, which is good. Not that I'm cold, I'm toasty. And yeah, this little stove is performing well. Cheers, Hambo, mate. Hambo made that. It's brilliant. Carbon felt inside, just a little, like a little sort of polished sort of tin. Yeah, little sort of a wire stand, bit of tin foil. All fits inside the pot. I've not had to use the gas yet. There you can see the rain on the tent. It's dry on the inside, completely dry. Yeah, such thin material, you think, oh, it's not gonna keep the rain out. It does. It's pretty good. The rain isn't as heavy as it has been, but it's still in the air. It's that kind of fine rain that you'd get soaked if you sat out in it for too long. I have got waterproofs with me. It's going to be difficult keeping the camera dry, of course, so I've had hoped to try and do some night photography. It's pretty calm out there. There's sort of all the birds out on the lake thing. They're probably going to be going all night. But other than that, there's barely any noise. You hear a train in the distance, and that's it really, and sort of like a hum from like the boats and the ships on the estuary, which is over that way. There's really nowhere to sort of camp along the foreshore there. Further down you go towards Shawmead Fort, which I've camped at before. That's just off of the route that I'm actually doing. But there are sort of places there to camp, but there's like a lot of semi-wild ponies, I think cattle, and you're right on the footpath there, so it's not ideal really. This is the best spot. You just don't get a view of the estuary, but you got a view of this wonderful lake, so I'm not complaining. It's fine. And I'm kind of tucked out of sight from the footpath as well, which is really good. The rain's starting to get a little bit heavier again. No chance of getting out and doing any photography. Shame. Sorry about that. I was looking forward to that as well, because it would have looked really good. So, enough yawning. I'll see you in the morning, everyone. It's been good. Morning everyone, it's 7:30 and I slept really well actually. I was really warm, comfy. Putting the stuff under my feet definitely helped, stopped me from sort of sliding a little bit. Yeah, perfect setup really. If anything, I was too warm at one point. I just had to open the sleeping bag up. I couldn't be bothered to take all my layers off and stuff, and I knew that it was probably going to get a little bit colder in the very early hours. It did rain for quite a lot of the night, and as a result the outside of the tent is pretty saturated, but inside it's dry as a bone. So this tent works well in the rain, which is good. The noise that you can hear all around us is basically the aggregate works at Cliffe Fort and sort of along the access road beside this big pool has come to life. All the conveyor belts are going, and there's like dumper trucks, earth movers, things like that, just moving up and down that access road. They've probably seen me already, but they don't seem bothered. I've been awake for half an hour. They would have seen the tent anyway, but I'm not going to be here for much longer anyway, so that's fine. I'll have to get the tent sort of dried, or well, try and get as much of the water off it as I can before I pack it away. I'm going to do some breakfast. I've got some porridge, coffee, hot chocolate, that sort of thing, protein bar or two. It's been a nice little camp. It's been really peaceful and really relaxed. I can't remember the last time I did a solo camp, but with the lockdown at the moment, that's probably the way it's going to have to be going forwards, is just do little solo camps, maybe do like a camp with Candice, stuff like that really. You know, I can't meet up with anyone else, so yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. It's in some ways it's nice to have a little break from everyone. I mean, I like camping with my mates, but it's good to do a few solos. Yeah, that's how the channel originally started, was me going out on my own, so it's good to get back to that. We'll see how it goes, but this was a nice chilled out little camp. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good, and I've been looking forward to doing this walk in the book for a long time. Enough talking, let's get walking. our footpath back to St Mary's Church at Lower Higham is over there, so sad to say we're going to be leaving the Thames Estuary. You can see on the other side the bank there's the World War II radar tower at Coalhouse Point. I've camped there a couple of times. There's like the heavy anti-aircraft gun battery there. Coalhouse Fort, I've done a video there as well, so check that out. And of course, yeah, all of that's Essex, beautiful county. And then that's a sort of a bend in the river over there, and Cliffe Fort's there, of course, where we sort of camped nearby at that lake. Beyond that's the London Gateway port on the other side of the river, and that bend in the River Thames here, of course, was a strategic location during like the Napoleonic era, the 1800s, and that's why they built Cliffe Fort and Coalhouse Fort on, you know, each side of the river, just to sort of guard that bend in the river, so they could fire upstream, downstream at enemy boats that would enter the Thames Estuary and try and sail up the river to take London, which is that way. Of course, we've got Gravesend and Tilbury first, so of course you've got New Tavern Fort on the Gravesend side, and you've got Tilbury Fort on that side. So the forts always worked kind of in tandem, in pairs, really, on opposite sides of the river to control it. And just up here, I would zoom in, but it's probably still not going to pick it up, is the remains of Shawmead Fort. I've camped there, and I think it's also in the videos I did with Andy the first time we met. And there are tunnels underneath Shawmead Fort, like magazine tunnels. I do want to explore those at some point, but not today. So yeah, check those videos out. The guidebook does say we can make a mile detour, half a mile there and back, to go and have a look at it, but you can just watch my videos. I'm gonna head on down that way back to the church. It's been a good camp, good walk. I've enjoyed this one. Back at the Church of St Mary here at Lower Higham. My car is literally the other side of the church wall. I would go in the church, but there's quite a few people in there at the moment. I think they're doing some sort of like restoration work, because this church is actually owned by the church's conservation trust. It's a lovely little church, interesting little spire on it as well. So that is going to be the end of this walker course and wild camp near Cliffe Fort on the Thames Estuary. It's the end of the video. Thank you very much for joining me on this one. I have really enjoyed this. It's been great to do a solo walk and wild camp. I've not done one for quite a while, and I know a few of you said that you preferred those. It's been brilliant. The rain last night was a bit annoying because it meant I couldn't get any night photography, but apart from that, everything else has been brilliant. The sunrise this morning was pretty good. There's been tons of history to see, and yeah, I just naturally gravitate towards water, I think, with river estuaries, the sea, anything like that. It's just really interesting. You throw in some history in a wild camp and a church, I'm laughing, love it. So yeah, thank you for joining me, thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed it. Get in the comments, let us know what you think. As always, thanks so much for the support, I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.